Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Students at Lloyd Comp High School had the opportunity to prepare for their future with College Day. Our Callan Dunlop has more on what the day means for the students.
College Day took place this morning at Lloyd Comp, giving students the tools and insight to make an informed decision on what career options are out there.
As somebody who works with students every day on career guidance, getting them to kind of talk to people from these institutions, get to know the programs firsthand. Often they get to talk to actual students who go to those programs. It's invaluable for our students.
It's very common for students when they get to grade 12 to be under immense stress with the pressure of life on the horizon.
Just kind of lets you know what the options out there, because a lot of times kids don't know, or they don't even think that they're going to a university or college, and then it like shows them that, hey, there's opportunities out there for you. There's like easier routes, there's this, and you can make a career out of that.
Having a college day for students allows for a easy flow of questions for people potentially interested in a certain program.
I think this is probably one of the most important things that we can do as a school, just because it shows all the students the opportunities and that there is so many different options and different career paths that you can take. You should never be discouraged because there is just so many options. And so, yeah, I think it's really cool that we could just have it all laid out for us and easily, kind of see what it takes.
Callan Dunlop, Primetime, local news.
The Lloydminster Rotary Club welcomed a member of Community Futures to speak today. With its goal being to help small businesses grow in Lloydminster, Community Futures helps create an economically diverse future for the border city by helping entrepreneurs start, expand, franchise, and sell their businesses if they see fit.
Community Futures have been in the community for over 30 years, and so we are focusing our efforts this year on business training. So we have launched an online learning portal called digifutures.ca, and so in the world of busy entrepreneurs, we know it's not always accessible to come to in-person events and to get all the actual training and skill development that they need. So we wanted to get something out there online that they can access 24/7. This DigiFutures project was launched here in our Lloydminster office, and so we're here to share it with our local entrepreneurs.
Beginning their support of small businesses all the way back in 1986, Community Futures has expanded to over 250 offices Canada-wide, equipping entrepreneurs with training programs, business networking events, and providing flexible business loans.
A part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem here, and we're here to help businesses get started and grow and expand. And so we know that entrepreneurs are coming to us for all sorts of information, resources, specific topics, and so this site can help them just learn the basics to starting their business, what's a business plan all about, marketing, there's cash flow. Eventually we'd like to have hundreds of little videos and snippets on the site just to help entrepreneurs in a one-stop shop for all the little tidbits that they need to get before starting, but also while they're still in business. We sometimes forget the basics.
Community Futures intends to continue expanding and innovating ways to grow businesses going forward. It's time for our weekly look into the past. Here's Jace Mackey with this week's Retrospect.
We start off Retrospect in 1994 with Indigenous fashion on display at the Native Friendship Center.
A full house was the result at the Native Friendship Center's first Aboriginal fashion show. The show was a part of the entertainment at the First Nations annual meeting. Organizers say the community's response was more than they expected for a show that was meant purely to be an entertainment event.
I think people are, I wouldn't say more accepting, curious and wanting to know more. I think people are wanting to learn more of the Aboriginal culture. And by coming tonight, they get to see a lot of the culture in the designs, the fashions, and hopefully they'll take a chance and meet the designers in person right afterwards.
The show captured some of Canada's top Aboriginal designers. The clothes were a variety of traditional and contemporary styles for both men and women. Each item showcased distinctive native patterns or symbols. The colors were mainly red, white, blue, and green, which symbolizes the native cycle of life. Jeff Chief, an Onion Lake designer, admits that much of his inspiration has come from tradition and the support of his family.
They used to always sew by hand, and they taught me how to be patient and stuff, because before I was always impatient. I just want to get everything done. They used to always tell me, slow down, take it easy, and just take your time, don't rush anything. And that's what they taught me.
The show consisted of all local models, and by the look of the response of the crowd, local support is strong for native fashions. Even Onion Lake Chief Wallace Fox took part modeling the designs.
I feel very honored to be a part of these people, our First Nations people, in their design, their clothes. It's an honor on my part to be a participant in it, and hopefully to help promote the whole area of the design industry, where it's up and coming now in our First Nations, as you've seen through some of the designs you've seen in the fashion show.
After the show, all the fashions were up for sale at quite reasonable prices. With the success of the first show, it could become the beginning of an annual event, which will mean a lot more business for one local designer.
And in 1998, a group searched the Midwest for something out of this world.
Skyrock 98 is on a mission to find meteorites. One of those meteorites is thought to be right here in the Midwest.
They figured it fell right in this area on the southern end of Manitou Lake, probably on one of the peninsulas that are just over in this direction. And they have a fairly good idea of where this thing fell, within about a square kilometer or so. So they figure it's somewhere on one of these two peninsulas.
The team is concentrating on 9 particular falls throughout the Prairie provinces. The search is not a blind man's bluff, though. From 1971 to 1985, a system of automated cameras was set up across the prairies to photograph the meteors as they fell. In 1977, a meteorite was found in Innisfree. So far, it's been the only one. The practice of photographing the meteorites ceased in 1981. And so did the discoveries.
Mostly, I suppose, a question of budgeting and allocating the expenses towards doing this. It's not a high success kind of thing, looking for these things. So consequently, the government was in no rush to allocate any more people or funds towards it.
Skyrock 98 won't give up. In fact, they think there's a good chance the Manitou Lake meteor will eventually be found.
If this meteorite was visible, we're talking about something that was predicted to be 3.4 kilograms, so about the size of a cantaloupe. Chances are we'd be able to see it, provided that the land was used for grazing over the last, it's been 23 years since the fall, which I think it has. So there's a chance that it's still sitting there unaltered and basically in the same place it was before, and not disturbed in any way.
Until then, the search will go on and a piece of outer space will rest right here in the Midwest.
That's it for this week's edition of Retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
So, Jace, I have used some ChatGPT in my time for some AI, but nothing super positive. So it's really good to see them using AI for something super positive here in Canada.
Yeah, we're hearing about AI so much. So wildfires, we're hearing about those a lot too. So it's good that they can maybe use that technology to help with wildfires, because as we know, they're getting worse and worse every year.
Yes, for sure. It was, though, a wonderful weekend here in the border city for weather. How are we looking here for this last week here in September for the weather, Jace?
Well, it was a beautiful day today as well, Thomas, and as we can see here on the screen at our almanac, we're seeing warmer temperatures than we normally do for this time of the year, so amazing. We'll take that. 23 was our high today. Usually it's around 15. The low was 10. So it's kind of interesting this time of the year because you wake up and it's like it feels kind of cold, but once the sun is up there midday, it starts getting warmer and warmer. And sometimes we don't reach our peak, our daytime high until closer to 4 o'clock. And then it'll drop really quickly after that. But definitely nice to have a good, August, or a good autumn. Sorry, that was what I was trying to say there. August is behind us. Stacey Comer's going to have more with global meteorologist Peter Quinlan as well, who will go in depth into what we could see heading throughout the fall and also into our winter. So make sure you stay tuned for that later in the show. But taking a look now at current conditions here in Lloydminster, 22 degrees right now. So very good for this time of the year and a bright sunny day today. So definitely make sure you go out and enjoy as much as you can of that. In North Battleford, even warmer, look at 26. That's like summer temperatures right there. Little more cloud coverage in North Battleford than we saw here in Lloydminster, but beautiful day, warmer there in North Battleford. Then we go north of us here in Cold Lake, 21 degrees. I think they'll take that as well. Not as warm as North Battleford, but a very nice day in Cold Lake. Taking a look at some of our other conditions across the region. Starting off on the Alberta side, you can see we're ranging from about 21 degrees to our high of 23, the warmest spot there in Bonnyville. And then looking on the Saskatchewan side, pretty similar. We do have a warmer spot though in North Battleford. As I mentioned, they were our warmest spot, so they're sitting at that 24. So it's really nice to see these temperatures in the mid-20s for this time of the year. You know, we're getting close to the end of September, and a lot of times fall just goes like that in an instant, but it's nice when we can have a fall that's a little more, a little longer, and you get those trees changing colors and really can enjoy that weather without being so hot. We know we're not into the 30s or anything like that. Tonight here in Lloydminster, things are going to cool down, but 10 degrees, we're staying in that double digits. It'll be a little breezy, but shouldn't be too bad overnight tonight. As we take a look at North Battleford, they're beating us again. 11 degrees overnight tonight is the low in North Battleford, and a partly cloudy night for them out there. As we move things over to Cold Lake, oh, there you go. They're a little warmer than North Battleford, at least 12 degrees overnight tonight for the evening in North Battleford. Should be a mild evening. As we take a look here at the next 3 days here in Lloydminster, it'll be a cloudy day tomorrow, but very warm, 25 degrees. Things start to cool off a little bit, but I don't think people will be complaining with 19 and 17 as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. And finally, taking a look at a viewer-submitted photo. Greg, love this photo. I'm sorry it's sideways, but I think it kind of adds to the aesthetic a little bit. He's been out at Bright Sand Lake for a long time, sending us so many photos, so I really appreciate this, Greg. And that's been your first look at weather. I'll be back here later in the show for our extended forecast.
Stay with us. Up next, we will have today's business headlines. The Holy Rosary Raiders home opener was this past Friday when they took on the Cold Lake Royals, and I was able to watch the exciting opening night action. It's week 2 of the Wheatland Football League, with the Holy Rosary Raiders getting their first game in after a historic championship run last year. Holy Rosary took a little time to get rolling, as on their opening drive they were able to get into scoring position and kick a field goal. They then got an additional rare Rouge point to end the quarter up 4-0. Then right away in the second quarter, the Raiders struck. With that touchdown, the Raiders would keep up the momentum on both sides of the ball with another touchdown shortly after. And then they would force a Royals fumble and recover it deep in Royals territory to go up 25-3 at halftime. Raiders would get another touchdown and a pick six to go up 39-3 in the third, and would grab a safety in the fourth for a final score of 41-3 for the victory.
I mean, on offense, we want to be balanced when we're able to run the ball, throw the ball. I thought we did a decent job of that tonight. We had a different player in at running back today, and I thought he did a great job, and the O-line did a great job for him. And the pass protection was awesome. Matthew had all day to throw the ball, and he did a great job of that. On the defensive side, they paid attention in practice and film. They did their homework, and they were able to make adjustments when Cold Lake was trying to move the ball. And overall, pretty happy with the performance.
The Raiders have a really great team dynamic between both the offense and defense, which has been key to their great start.
Got a great group of guys right now. We all get along pretty well, and yeah, we just support each other, and when we make big plays, we congratulate each other, and when we make bad plays, we pull each other up and tell them what to work on.
The Raiders will next take on the St. Paul Lions. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local news. And now we will check back in for some more weather. Here's Jace Mackey.
Thomas. It's great to see the Raiders continuing their winning ways. What a dominant performance there, and hopefully it continues as they go throughout their season. Starting off our second look at weather here, we're just taking a look at our future radar here. And as you can see over the next little bit into your day tomorrow, there's not a chance we'll be seeing any rain here in Lloydminster. We'll have the cloud coverage come through, but that precipitation is staying over in the mountains, wrong side, sorry, not used to doing this, into the mountains in southern Alberta. So no chance we'll be seeing any thunderstorms or anything like that as we head into your day tomorrow. And speaking of your day tomorrow, it's time to take a look here at our school day forecast. So like I said, it's going to be a cloudy day. We're not going to see much sun tomorrow, but it's going to be fairly warm. So we start off our day with an 11 in the morning, and then it'll warm up. And when you head out for lunch, 19 degrees, I think that's pretty good. But by the time you reach the end of the day, that's when we'll really be getting around our 24. So like I was saying in our first weather, a lot of times we don't reach our daytime high until around that 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, which is a little abnormal when it comes when you compare it to our summer. But as long as we're getting there, I'm happy with that. Taking a look at your day tomorrow in North Battleford. 29 degrees. What is going on? Are we actually in August? That's crazy to be seeing temperatures this warm. It will be a little windy though tomorrow in North Battleford, so that may impact exactly how warm it feels, but it is expecting to be a fairly sunny day, so very good news for our friends out in North Battleford. Taking a look now back here on the Alberta side in Cold Lake, warm day as well, a little cloudier than in North Battleford. We'll be seeing 23 as the high in Cold Lake for your day tomorrow. Overnight tonight across our region, lots of 11s there. We're in the double digits still, 11 in Meadow Lake, Bonnyville, and Provost. La Crosse is our warmest on this slide, sitting at 14 degrees, and we see 10 degrees overnight tonight in Paradise Hill. Continuing with a look across our region overnight tonight, all of those as well in the double digits, so very good news. We'll be seeing a fairly warm evening overnight tonight. Myrnam, Unity, and Wainwright will be at 10 degrees. Pierceland will be sitting at 11. And down south in Calgary, they're sitting at 12 degrees. Taking a look at those areas for the day tomorrow, a lot warmer than their overnight conditions. 25 in La Crosse and Meadow Lake, sunny days for both those areas. A little cloudy in both Bonnyville and Provost. Bonnyville will be having a daytime high of 23, but look at that, 26 in Provost, a little cloudy, but I think you'll take that. It's a nice warm day for near the end of September here. 24 degrees in Paradise Hill. Don't want to forget about them. Taking a look at some more areas across our region. Unity, what's going on there? 27 degrees, nice warm day. We will be seeing a lot of wind though in the afternoon, so that might impact how warm it actually does feel. 23 degrees in Myrnam and Pierceland. Wainwright will be sitting at 25, but it will be a cloudy day there. As we take a look now here at our 7-day forecast, let's take a look at what we can be seeing into the next week and into our weekend as well. As I mentioned yesterday, 25 degrees, the warmest day of our upcoming week. It will be a cloudy day as well. The sun comes out a little more as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. 19 on Wednesday and 17 for the high on Thursday, and then the clouds come back out again. It gets a little colder as we head into your weekend, unfortunately. 15 degrees on Friday, and then it gets even colder with 14 on Saturday. Chance we'll be seeing a little bit of low clouds and some possible fog to start off the day there. Sun does come out on Sunday, but it doesn't really make things that much warmer. 15 degrees is the high there. And then we start off your next week with 15 as well, and there's a chance we'll be seeing some afternoon showers. Should be a pretty sunny day to start things off though, but make sure you get out at the beginning of this week and enjoy that warm weather because it's getting colder. We're getting into October. That's all the time we have for this second extended look here at weather. Thomas Wildman will be back with more news after the break.
Joining us from Ottawa today, which is a very busy place, as we all know, especially lately, it's our MP for the Battlefords Lloydminster, Rosemary Falk. Rosemary, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Stacey, for having me.
It is busy, obviously, your first few days back, so much to do there. So, Rosemary, let's talk about the goals that you have going into the fall session of Parliament.
For sure. So this summer, we've had the opportunity to hear from a lot of Canadians from coast to coast, and we have heard undoubtedly that it's expensive. Life is expensive. Groceries are expensive. Cost of living is expensive. And we know that Justin Trudeau created massive inflationary debt, and that's driven up interest rates. We know that he's bloated bureaucracies and have made it so that Canada has the fewest homes per capita when it comes to any G7 nation. And so it's very important for us. Some of our main priorities as Conservatives is reversing the housing hell that Justin Trudeau has caused, but also axing the Trudeau NDP carbon tax to help bring down the cost of food, gas, and groceries. And that's something that I have been very passionate about. I think I've mentioned it almost every time I've spoken to you, how we need to axe the carbon tax.
Well, I know that lots of your constituents, Rosemary, had the chance to speak with you over the summer. Was the cost of living one of the higher things on the list, or maybe even close to the top of what they were experiencing and looking for your help?
Absolutely, yeah. Undoubtedly, like when you even look at grocery prices, our gas prices, I mean, it's not even winter yet. We could even argue it's maybe not even fall yet, even though the calendar might say so. And so, I mean, once people have to start turning on their furnaces for heat, we're going to see a lot more people, unfortunately, having to choose between heating their home and putting food on the table. I know just this past weekend, I was out at a sports event, a children's sport event, and I could not believe the amount of people that were just talking about interest rates and talking about inflation and affordability. And for sure, this is our little people, our kids are hearing this, which is just going to cause another stress on top of the things that they're already dealing with post-COVID.
Well, Rosemary, you have a private member's bill that has received second reading now. Can you tell me a little bit about that, please?
Absolutely. So my private member's bill is C318. And so what this does is it actually gives adoptive parents and intended parents the same amount of leave that parents that was taking maternity and paternity would. So right now, as it stands, adoptive and intended parents get 15 weeks less leave with their child they're adopting or having. And so this is just going to level the playing field out. Super excited that it did pass second reading. So what that means is it's going to go to committee. That's where we will discuss it. If there are any recommendations or amendments that any of the other parties want to bring forward, they can do that there. But I look forward to progressing it through the House. It's quite exciting. Not a lot of people get the opportunity to have a private member's bill, let alone one make it this far. So it's been exciting.
So how long do you expect that to take? Is it something that is quite a long and arduous process, or can it, if everybody agrees, can it wrap up quickly?
It can go quickly if everybody agrees, but that's the key. There seems to be a problem with that on any piece of legislation. We all have the ideas, but different paths of getting to that idea. So we'll see what happens.
Now, heading into the rest of the weeks coming up here for the fall sitting, Rosemary, I know that obviously as a caucus, you guys sit and discuss issues. So is there anything as far as nationally with the Conservative Party that we can look forward to seeing brought up in the House?
You know, definitely the cost of living. I think the carbon tax for sure is a big one because provinces and territories are now not just paying that one. There is also the clean fuel standard, which is also going to affect, especially in our neck of the woods, anybody that has to drive to get somewhere, which is what our rural and remote areas usually consist of. And then also to groceries, right? And we hear Pierre say this all the time. You know, if you tax the farmer who grows the food, you tax the trucker who trucks the food, you tax the grocery stores that sell the food, who's ultimately paying for that? It's Canadians. It's everyday Canadians who then are having to pay this tax. So definitely affordability, I would say, number one issue for sure.
All right, Rosemary. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you today, and we look forward to keeping, I guess, in touch with you as things go, and watch your private members bill go through as well. That's very exciting for you. Congratulations, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Yes, thank you so much, Stacy.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
Well, a familiar face to Lloydminster and pretty much across the country is with us today. Peter Quinlan, meteorologist for Global News. Peter, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be with you, Stacy.
We are in fall officially now, my favorite time of the year, so I'm enjoying this weather. Can you tell me,
Yes.
is this type of weather going to hang on for the next little while?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be actually spectacular. The only concern is with the winds. Those sometimes knock down those lovely leaves a little too soon, but it's actually going to be likely an above average, warmer than normal trend throughout fall. That said, the normals do gradually take a cooler turn throughout the fall season. So, of course, that will eventually happen as those nights get longer, the days get shorter. But you can look forward to more drier than normal and warmer than normal conditions right through into November.
Now, you said you have some statistics for the summer in this area.
Mhm.
Peter, how did things turn out? Because I think people seem to think that, maybe we had a not so great summer because we
Mm.
didn't have a lot of hot days, but you have the official word. So tell me what you have.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people might have thought that because we didn't see quite as many 30-degree days, which are kind of those awesome days when people like to get to the lake that we normally would. But we actually did see quite a number of days above the average high and above the average low. So altogether, it was the 8th warmest summer ever recorded. Now, meteorological summer is June, July, and August. Temperatures throughout that 90-plus day period were 1.4 degrees above average. So that is pretty significant when you're averaging out 90 days of data. It was the 39th wettest, so we actually did see wetter than normal conditions at the Lloydminster Airport. 220.2 millimeters of moisture fell. That's 107% of the normal of 205.8 millimeters.
Well, heading into the end of fall comes the time that a lot of people are not excited to be talking about now, but winter.
Mhm.
Peter, what can
Yes.
we look forward winter-wise?
Yeah, well, we've had 3 winters in a row when we're in what we call a La Nina pattern, where we have usually cooler and sometimes snowier than normal conditions. So people are probably a little concerned about this one, but actually we are flip-flopping this year to an El Nino, which is when we get warmer waters off the South Pacific. And then basically what that does is it pushes the jet stream further to the north. And for Lloydminster area and most of the prairies, we see warmer than normal conditions and drier than normal conditions. And we have a fairly high degree of accuracy with El Nino years for the winter forecast. So it's pretty safe to say it will be warmer and drier than normal. It's looking like it could be one of the strongest El Ninos on record. So yeah, might even be a dry or a brown Christmas. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, I know that you can't predict exactly when we're going to have the first snowfall of the year.
Mhm.
Lots of people like to have, Halloween so kids can go
Mhm.
out and in their costumes without having to put a parka and boots on. So can you safely say at this point that you think we
Mm.
won't have a lot of snow around Halloween, or is that too hard to predict?
It is very tricky to predict, but this year there is a better chance that we won't see as much snow this Halloween, and a higher degree of chance that we might not see any snow for Halloween. So if there was a year where we had a good chance of a snow-free Halloween, this year would be it.
Peter, I know you're used to doing the weather for a number of spots across the country. Is Saskatchewan and this area kind of on trend with the rest of the country, or did we really bulk the trend when it comes to summertime temperatures and the way things played out?
Yeah, well, actually, we were kind of right in the middle of this warmer than average trend. We saw that in BC with the dry weather and the fires, and then into northern Alberta, northern Saskatchewan with those fires. So really, Lloydminster was kind of in the bunch of all of those warmer than average days. In terms of precipitation, the Lloydminster area actually was one of the few spots that did see wetter than normal conditions. Summer can be quite variable, though, with those thunderstorms. It can dump a ton of moisture over one area and not another. So we take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, kind of in that overall trend of above average, warmer than average conditions throughout summer.
All right, Peter. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you again. And now that we know what to look forward to, maybe we don't have to get those winter jackets out just quite yet.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much. It's always a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Stacy.
And just continuing off on our weather theme, we're going to take a look here at our 7-day forecast. So a cloudy day tomorrow in Lloydminster with a high of 25. The sun comes out on Wednesday, but the temperatures go down a little bit. Our daytime high is 19 with that low of 6, and the low gets even lower on Thursday as we see a low of 3 with a high of 17. Heading into your Friday, a cloudy day again with a high of 15. Some low clouds on Saturday with a high of 14, and then 15 for both Sunday and starting your week off on Monday.
And so now a few lucky spectators in Victoria, BC witnessed a rare visit.
What is it?
A pod of orcas played up to visitors near a float
Look
plane
at them.
terminal here in the inner harbor, gently gliding through the water. Sightings of orcas in the harbor have increased over the years and always managed to capture a crowd. Well, that's outstanding. Jace, have you ever been over at BC and been able to see orcas or whales or any of those watching things?
No, unfortunately not, but I'm not surprised they draw such a crowd because so adorable. I always see when I'm going through Facebook or whatever different videos and photos, and it's got to be a unique experience.
Absolutely beautiful. You know what I like though, Jace? I do like me some good Dolphins, especially when they win 70-20. But that will be it for today's Primetime Local News. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow night.